Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing both DLCs for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. The two DLCs I'm going to be reviewing are story expansions for the Not a Hero DLC, as well as the End of Zoe DLC. Now, I decided I was going to go ahead and make a single video for both of these because even though they are additional story pieces, they are indeed shorter than the actual game. I think both of them make up kind of like half the game's actual length for gameplay. So I figured, hell, why not combine the two? So that's what I did. Hopefully you guys enjoy this content. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and share with your friends. And yeah, if you have any other games, movies, whatever you want me to do to review, then I will gladly review those. Also, I decided that just for a little bit of like a cooldown time, this next upcoming week will be a bit of a break period so I can get some drawing and art work done. I have a couple of plans for things like Mother's Day, a couple of people's birthdays, stuff like that coming up, so I will be busy. I don't think I will be making a video for this Friday or maybe even next Friday. However, I will be working on Resident Evil 8's full gameplay. I want to say the week after next. That's my predicted time. I don't know how long it's going to take, but yeah, I really hope that you guys understand that I'm not going to be taking a super long time with this break, so just hang in there and I will go ahead and try my best to have out a couple of videos, at least one video every Sunday, because I'm still going to be doing the food reviews, but the big projects for the games and stuff like that will take just a little bit of time to come out again. So thank you guys so much for listening, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Bye-bye. Resident Evil 7 Story Extensions Breakdown. Spoiler warning, if you wish to keep this story spoiler-free, please avoid this video altogether because I will be covering the vast majority of both Not a Hero and the End of Zoe DLCs. And here's a secret warning. I will say a few tips that aren't exactly secrets about each of the games, but hopefully they can help completionists by those who want to make the game easier, or more difficult. For Resident Evil 7's Not a Hero DLC, you play the role of an Umbrella Corporation Biohazard containment crew member named Chris Redfield. What a mouthful. That is on a mission to hunt down Lucas Baker, who is still within the perimeters of the Baker residence. This DLC is a free DLC that came out spring of 2017 that takes place directly after the main game of Resident Evil 7. Chris is made to go into the underground salt mines that contain both Lucas's hideout, but also a new lethal breed of molded that is extremely hard to defeat. Just like in the Lucas Death Games area, this place is rigged with deadly traps that will prove to be really challenging to avoid. Soon after Chris enters the mines, he discovers Lucas has captured a few of his cleanup crew members, so it becomes a new priority to try and save any of these men if possible. As soon as Chris tries to help a fallen crew member, one of the corpses around him comes to life and slams an explosive cuff around Chris's wrist. The body removes their helmet to reveal they are actually Lucas Baker in disguise. Chris is then forced to watch his still-living comrade have his head blown off by a deadly bomb collar, as a warning to Chris to play along or else he will suffer a similar fate. When Chris moves on, Lucas makes an escape. Chris is made to find other friends that end up dying as well due to some saw-like death traps. Chris is made to collect helmet attachments from his allies, helmets such as a purifier that keeps Chris safe from toxic spores, and a night vision module hidden within a spore-infested area of the mines. When Chris finds the night vision module, he also finds these things called ramrods. which the acronym stands for Rapid Acting Mycetotoxic Rounds, which is also a type of ammunition that specializes in killing the rare, powerful white molded creatures that can rapidly regenerate health to a point of where they take little to no damage before healing once again. For the original white molded, 1 round to any part of the body is all you need. However, the Mama molded, which is a massive white molded variant, takes much more since she is indeed a boss type enemy, or at the very least a mini-boss enemy. After another fail with trying to save a third crewmate, Chris must race against the clock to remove his bomb bracelet before the clock strikes 0. Chris must fight against a second Mama molded before finally reaching a barrel of liquid nitrogen. Chris manages to freeze his hand long enough to cut the bracelet off and throw it just before it thaws. Thankfully, Chris is able to move freely without his arm being blown off now. Finally, Chris must push onward through Lucas' base, which leads into a facility where Lucas has been experimenting with the molded, as well as has been trying to sell Evelyn's data on the black market so that he can not only make a bunch of money, but also spread a lethal bioweapon. After catching up to Lucas, Chris ensues a final battle against Lucas in a deadly mutated form. After a long battle, Chris finally is able to put Lucas down and end the data transfer before the third party can receive the data. Now Chris is finally finished for now. Now Chris must explore the area with his remaining team to see if there are any survivors within the Baker estate. Quick secret, make sure you use the clown key and go ahead and look everywhere. You could find some rewards hidden behind some clown doors that you forgot. In the end of Zoe Dlc, which takes place about 2 weeks after the base Resident Evil 7 game, that is if you choose the good ending by picking to save Mia in the choice after Jack Baker's boss fight, you play the role of a truly respectable family-driven man called Joe Baker, who is the uncle of Zoe. Joe Baker discovers that his whole family has descended into madness, as well as the swamp's creatures evolving into wicked reincarnations of themselves. Joe wanders up to a few soldiers that have been gazing at the body of Zoe Baker, who is still barely breathing, as well as has been transformed by a breed of the mold that is crystalline in origin, much like quartz. Joe attacks the soldiers and takes one of them hostage after the soldiers refuse to tell him what's going on around the area. Joe takes both the hostage soldier and Zoe's body to his cabin to keep Zoe safe, as well as to interrogate the soldier. Joe knows who the men work for, which is the Umbrella Corporation, as well as has been studying their operations for days by the looks of it. The soldier, after being beaten by Joe, says that there is a cure that can save Zoe. Joe goes out to try and find it, realizing his house has been set ablaze while he was gone. He administers the cure to Zoe, but realizes that he only found part of a dose needed to cure Zoe of her condition. The soldier realizes this and tries to tell Joe about how there is a soldier camp that has a way to make a full dose, but before he can explain, a monster suddenly breaks down the wall and pulls the soldier through, soon returning him by throwing the soldier, who is ripped in half, right back through Joe's window. Joe goes to carry Zoe to a new place for safety, but the monster tears down the wall in front of them both in an effort to try grabbing Zoe. Joe backs up just in time, so the monster narrowly misses them both. Joe can finally see the face of the creature, a hulking humanoid that appears to be made of rotting flesh, swamp materials like roots, moss, bugs, and mud. In its head rests a sunken, singular orange eye with the rest of the beast's head covered in swamp muck like a mask over the face. Joe is forced to run to the motorboat at the docks that are now covered in flames from the monster's advances. Joe is able to find a new safe place for Zoe to rest, while Joe searches for the cure. However, Joe realizes that the soldiers had to move camp due to the monster attacking them as well. Joe is later attacked by the hulking brute, so Joe is able to beat the beast using his bare hands. However, as Joe is about to explore again, the beast gets up for round 2. Thankfully, you can avoid the second fight by simply running to the next assigned area. Joe Baker comes upon a massive boat that is overrun by molded monsters, so he must take them all out to progress through. At the end of the massive boat, Joe finds a machine that can actually develop another dose of the E-type infection that Zoe contracted from Evelyn's influence. After Joe picks up the cure, he is met up with the monstrous brute once again, which promptly throws Joe through the floor to ensue with the boss fight against the monster. After this fight, Joe must return to Zoe so he can at last administer the cure Zoe needs. Just after Joe gives her the cure, the resilient monster kidnaps Zoe from Joe's grasp and pulls her into the swamp. Joe chases after them both and is led to the chapel, where Zoe is made to stay, too weak to do anything. Just before Joe can save her, the monster attacks Joe and attempts to kill him. Joe is able to remove the massive chunk of the monster's face, revealing it is none other than Jack Baker, which is Joe's brother. Jack knocks out Joe and ends up locking him down in a coffin and attempts to drown him. Joe wakes up washed up onto the shore filled with coffins and Umbrella Corporation boats. Joe is made to push forward and collect a new steel gauntlet that can power up Joe's left punches with large amounts of gravitational force. As he makes his way towards the main house, he realizes he must defeat Jack Baker on his own turf. Joe, after finding Zoe still knocked out, tries to wake her before suddenly is made to challenge Jack Baker in one final death match. After a long battle between Jack Baker and Joe, Joe is finally able to kill Jack for good and bring Zoe to a safe Umbrella camp. Once Zoe has been nursed back to health, she receives a call from a phone Chris Redfield hands her. Zoe realizes that Ethan Winters was on the phone. He kept his promise and sent help to her. Thankfully, now Zoe has been saved and Joe's hard work was paid off, the story of Resident Evil 7 comes to an end. Well, for now at least. Here's the Nada Hero DLC final review. 43.5 out of 50 stars. The graphics were an 8.5 out of 10. As per usual, the graphics were absolutely wonderful, however obviously the graphics seemed bad when the brightness is up. Rating shall stay the same for the end of Zoe, so I will not be rating that. I will just be adding the score from there. Character design was an 8 out of 10. I loved all of the designs for the monsters, however, the white molded were super scary. I wasn't too fond of the mama molded and the spider she ended up birthing. Music was a 10 out of 10 as per usual. The music has a solid rating for this game. Rating will also be the same for End of Zoe. The gameplay was an 8 out of 10. I feel the game itself was far too short, however it was really fun and fast paced regardless. The story was a 7 out of 10. As stated before, it was far too short, but I did love how we got to see Lucas one more time. I loved Lucas's part in the original game, but the base game for his part was far too short, I'd say. The End of Zoe final review will be a 43.3 out of 50 stars. Character design is a 7.9 out of 10. I do enjoy seeing the other new variants of the molded in this mode, especially the heavily armored molded. I also love the additions of having a threat within the water thanks to the molded alligators. The gameplay is a 10 out of 10. I love how unique this game style is. Using your bare fists most of the time is so cool, and with a funny character like Joe Baker, you obviously will have such a good time with this lack of filter. The story is a 9 out of 10. I love how this story features the ideals of family being more important than just stopping the world-ending monsters and stopping Umbrella Corporation. You can actually focus on the familial aspect, instead of which I find so much better than the constant cliche that Resident Evil always seems to love. I would love to give a special thank you to my parents, my friends, my girlfriend, and everyone else who always supports me throughout these videos. Hope you guys enjoy this content, I will see you next time. By the way, just a reminder, I will be taking a break for next week, but I will be still coming out for Sunday's videos. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.